All right, so this is just a quick trade recap slash walkthrough of my trade today. Um, it's Tuesday, June 25th, 2024. So let's start off on the daily here. Actually, we'll start off on the weekly. So the reason I wanted bullishness on the higher time frame, or the reason my bias was bullish, is because the higher time frame is showing that we're reacting off of a weekly fair value gap. Okay, that's number one. Number two, we're reacting off a daily fair value gap, and on top of that, we're sweeping liquidity on the daily as well. And you'll see that better on the 4-hour time frame. So two higher time frame PD arrays that we're currently inside of and reacting bullish off of. So here on the 4-hour, you could see we came for this liquidity yesterday, which is a reason why I lost my trade on Monday, is because we ended up coming for this liquidity. So we came for those equal lows, and now that we swept those equal lows, we could potentially see some bullishness, especially off of the two PD arrays that I detailed before. Now, on top of all that, we also swept liquidity on the 1-hour here. You see how we swept that low? So that's even more of a reason for me to enter, and it also provided me with my model. Had this been an equal low here, then my model really wouldn't have been present. But we swept, distributed, came back into a fair value gap slash inverse fair value gap, the double whammy there. Traded into it. I put my limit order on the 15-minute time frame, so I got smacked in right at market open there. I made sure, now this is key here, this is technically the fair value gap that would have been ideal because that's equilibrium, right? However, price very often does not come down to discount or premium, depending on what we're looking for, right? It does not, I wouldn't say usually, but there are many times when it doesn't. This is one of those times where if you're waiting for that discount, fair value gap, you're not going to get it. So I made sure to account for this. I made sure to put my stop loss. My stop loss started, if I can, I don't know if I'm going to be able to grab this or not. My stop loss started underneath here for 1 to 3 risk reward. Okay. So yeah, but I accounted for this fair value gap, and that's where I put my limit order, and we got another sweep on a smaller time frame, on the 15-minute time frame. Now here's where maybe I might have been able to get a better entry, but I also wanted to take into account these fair value gaps. If I didn't take into account these fair value gaps with my stop loss, I think I would be doing myself a disservice. Today it would have worked out, but in the long run, I'm not sure if that would really work out. But what I'm talking about is this right here. I'll actually go to the 2-minute. That's the best time frame to show it. Right, you'll see we got this sweep, left a nice fair value gap here, broke structure, limit order here on this fair value gap. Boom, we're in. I can set my stop loss underneath here. Now, the only thing I don't like about that is, of course, this, right? We left a lot to be desired here that I wanted to account for just in case price wanted to fill in those inefficiencies prior to running higher. But anyways, yeah, I got in off of this 15-minute fair value gap, limit order, and it took off straight from there. Now, as far as my target and what I was reaching for and how I managed the trade, so I was targeting these equal highs. Now, it's understandable that we don't get there today. I get that because I'm asking a lot. Like that's a lot of points, and I was fully aware of that when I set my take profit there. But in all honesty, there really is not another place that made sense. This high would have less liquidity than this high. If we got this high, we should come for this in the long run. Again, does it have to happen today? No, this could be a 2-day long trade. I remember I entered off the 15-minute time frame. That's not usually what I enter off of. I usually enter off of max the 5-minute. So I was prepared to hold this for a little bit longer than I usually do. I'm usually in and out in the morning. So I was prepared to hold it, like I said, a little bit longer. really there was no other play. I was looking for fair value gaps. I was looking for any price inefficiency or other liquidity I could aim for, and realistically, this is the only piece of liquidity. Um, I was a little bit nervous about this fair value gap. It wasn't much, but when we reacted like that with that candlestick, I thought, ooh, we might uh, be reacting off of that fair value gap there. But really, there wasn't much inefficiencies along this run here. So, to me, and I gotta be honest. So here's how I manage this. Um, I traded 3 contracts. So an odd number of contracts. So what I did was I took one contract off at the 50%. Okay, I took one contract off. When I did that, since I only took one contract off, and I wanted to make sure that, if price did run to my stop, I would have actually still lost money, and I don't want it to be a losing trade. I want to limit losses. So I immediately put this to break even once I saw that we hit 50%, and I took one contract. I was hoping to leave the other 2 contracts on for the rest of the runner, or maybe even I eventually put a limit order here at this high. I said when it comes to this high, I'll take another contract off. So I eventually ended up getting out somewhere around here, this candle here, because we ended up disrespecting this fair value gap, this PDA right here, and there really wasn't another fair value gap for us to tap into. There wasn't any liquidity for us to really sweep, I felt. And so, I managed to trade like I thought, I managed to trade like I thought I should. I don't regret getting out early there. Looking back, do I wish I would have put my take profit here? Sure, but what am I aiming for there? You know what I mean? There's I don't know what I'm aiming for there, so I'm happy with how it worked out. These highs also ended up lining up very nicely with a daily fair value gap that we could have repriced into today, albeit, again, a lot of points. And also this previous daily high. So, look, it is what it is. We'll see. I would not be surprised if we finished above here for today, or maybe even we come and take profit. We'll see what ends up happening, how it prints, how the rest of the day prints here. Look, I thought I managed it like I should. I don't really know. I'll try to learn off of this. Maybe I manage it differently next time. Maybe I let it just play out, right? I had it set break even. I took one contract off. I already made some money. Let it just play, right? If it ends up taking this take profit by the end of today, I'll definitely be thinking to myself, damn, I should have done that, right? That's also hindsight, obviously. So, I'm in the business of trying to, make capital, but also preserve my capital, and that's what I did here successfully today. Could I be a little bit more aggressive in my approach? Maybe. I'm conservative by nature, and you gotta also know yourself as a trader. So we'll see how the rest of the day plays here. Rest of the day pans out, and yeah. But that's the trade recap for today. It was a winning trade. I made about $500. So essentially canceled out the lost trade that I had yesterday, and we'll see what the rest of the week holds for us, right? Yeah.